I actually have no earthly idea how I want this to look, but we're gonna try it. Hello friends and welcome to my commentary corner. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back because I love having you in my corner. I don't know if it's just me, but I got sick last week. I had the Goku virus or something. No, but like I just had a terrible cold and just all kinds of mucus and coughing and gross stuff. I apologize. I was going through it a little bit, but we're here, we're back, baby. Better than ever. Not really, but like we're doing the best that we can, you know? So I had a weird idea for today, and I have no clue if this is gonna be either the best thing that I've ever done, the most creative, the most out-of-box thing that I've done, or if it's gonna be the corniest thing that I've ever come up with. If it is corny, please have some grace on me. I pride myself on being somewhat creative, but you know what? Sometimes an idea just isn't it. But if this is successful, I'm gonna be really happy about that. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, like putting yourself out there is always gonna be a good thing. Even if it doesn't go well, it's still a good thing to put yourself out there. So that's my little soapbox and my encouragement for you today. But getting to the point, because we don't have all day, people have commented, oh my gosh, I feel like it would be awesome to see a Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill crossover. Because I've done, of course, a lot of crossover content in this year. I've been trying to essentially gain a new audience of people while bridging that gap between my Bob's Burgers fans and moving into something else, but not losing my Bob's Burgers people, you know? I'm wanting to just expand my horizons. So King of the Hill has been super fun to just overanalyze and take way too seriously sometimes. And I thought, you know what if I basically made an episode that was my rendition of a Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill crossover episode? What if I just kind of wrote one? Now, this is not gonna be like scripted and verbatim and professional by any means. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just decided to use my imagination a little bit and decide if I put the Hills and the Belchers in the same space, what would those interactions look like? So that's what we're doing today. I hope that you enjoy it. I'm gonna do my best with the visuals, the clips that I decide to use. It would be even better if I could draw. I cannot. I'm artsy fartsy, but not in that way. I could do little stick figures, I guess. Do y'all remember, if you are around my age, if you're in your late 20s, you know, if you were born in the 90s to early 2000s and you remember the Draw My Life fad that was happening on YouTube, oh my gosh, yeah, I could probably do that, but we're not gonna do that this time around. I don't know, maybe I'll bring it back. Anyways, this intro has been far too long, very ADD, we just need to get into it. So I want to introduce you to the episode, A Hill of a Burger, and let's jump into it. So the scene will open up in Arlen, Texas, on the Hill family, eating breakfast, getting ready for the day, and Hank goes into work at Strickland Propane, and Buck informs the team that they have a propane convention that they need to attend in New Jersey. Hank is not a huge fan of having to travel all the way up to the Northeast because, well, that's a long trek, but he does love Lady Propane more than anything. Well, maybe Peggy, but honestly, we're kind of neck and neck. So, of course, Hank is happy to oblige Mr. Buck Strickland. Goes home to tell the family. At first, he's not expecting that they'll want to come, but Peggy thinks, you know what, lately, we really haven't been having a whole lot of family bonding time. Hank, we want to join you on your trip. So, they all pile in the truck and make their way across the country. As they're making their way, they make it into the state, stop at a gas station, because they got to refill, and Bobby notices a flyer for Wonder Wharf, and you know, they've been stuck in this stuffy car. They have a day to themselves before the convention starts. And he thinks, you know what? We should go here. We need to have a little bit of fun, let off a little steam. We've been cooped up for too long. Let's do something fun together. Peggy agrees. Hank is hesitant, but you know what? Peggy ropes him into it. So they get to Ocean Avenue and they are walking down the street making their way to Wonder Wharf when Hank smells the most delicious burger smell that he has ever smelled in his life and decides to follow his nose, and then he spots it, Bob's Burgers. And he thinks, you know what? We gotta eat. We're hungry. Let's get some decent food, you know, because he's not really expecting that New Jersey really has any decent food. Let's be honest. That would be Hank. So they go into the restaurant, and Hank immediately, he already liked the smell, but he already enjoys the fact that this restaurant is just simple. There's no frills, no showboating, just a plain brand. And in his mind, he's thinking, okay, you know, I can get with this. I'll tell you what. Linda approaches them, of course, as the lovely hostess that she is, starts joking around with them. She's a little loud, but she's friendly, and Peggy automatically takes a liking to her. Linda introduces herself, gives them some menus to look over, makes some small talk, and asks them where they're from. And meanwhile, the Belcher kids are making a mess. They're playing with with restaurant supplies and generally just being bad kids. Doing everything but working. And while the kids are playing a game, of course, Bob yells out from the kitchen,
"Kids, stop playing, what is it?"
To which the kids retort and say something sassy back, per usual.
What do you expect us to do? Work?
"Yes."
No.
Hank is sitting there secretly and silently judging them for having some bad kids and not being able to get a hold of them, basically. While Hank is over here silently judging them, Peggy is letting Linda know that they are from Arlen, Texas. They are for a propane convention. Jean overhears this and decides to chime in with a funny pop culture joke, something about the South.
Problem was, there wasn't no proof. But now we have more evidence than an alligator with a full belly next to an empty crawfish bucket.
Probably something along the lines of something about Dolly Parton or Reba McEntire or some other country artist singer. And immediately Bobby sees a kindred spirit within Jean. And so they start to talk in, swapping jokes back and forth, and they're having a great time. Kind of during the small talk, Hank decides, hey, I'm ready to order. So he asks Linda, can I just have a regular cheeseburger? Linda offers, hey, we have a burger of the day if you'd like to try it. Hank says, no, ma'am, I'm just looking for a plain burger. He's not trying to do anything fancy because Hank is not a fancy man. Peggy and Bobby, however, are a bit more adventurous and get the burger of the day. Linda takes their orders, Bob makes it for them, and he brings it out to them himself because, yeah, he's trying to get to know his customers a little better, and Linda has been encouraging him to show his face a bit more and learn how to gain some people skills, basically. So he goes out there, he serves the food, and they take their first bite, and Hank Hill is blown away by the delicious flavor of Bob's burger. He cannot believe, I don't think he's tasted a better burger in his life. I'll be, he would say something like that, well, I'll be.
This table smells like a diaper, and this is still the best meal I've had in years.
And Hank is not afraid to show his appreciation. He tells Bob just how much he loves this burger, asks him about his process and where he sources his beef from, and Bob is into it and of course tells him, I only want to get the finest beef, USDA prime, and Hank could appreciate that. They also bond over the simplicity of the burger, of the environment of the restaurant, to which he, tells Bob, you seem like you're just a hardworking man. I like that your food and your restaurant is straightforward. Bob thanks him and tells him, we tried something different for a little bit, had a weird tiki theme for a minute, and I just couldn't get down with it. I didn't want to take advantage of a friend because I'm a burger man, and that's my only mission is just to serve good burgers.
There's nothing wrong with tiki. I would have hated any theme. I'm a burger man, not a this man.
This struck a chord within Hank. Hank is starting to soften a bit towards Bob, and then Hank also looks over and he sees Bobby hanging out with the Belcher children, and they're just joking and having a good time, and he just appreciates seeing the bonding that's happening there and just how kind that they are to him. But then all of a sudden, Tina looks out and she notices that there is a truck that is being towed. She says, without looking at them, still observing the event that is happening outside, is now a good time to say that there's a red truck right outside of our restaurant that's being towed, to which Hank says, "Ah!" and gets up. Bob and Hank run outside to try and stop the tow guy. They're too late and he's driving off. And so Bob offers to give him a lift. They get into the station wagon and unfortunately it doesn't even turn on. So Hank offers to take a look under the hood and see what's up. It looks like Bob just hadn't put any oil in it because unfortunately Bob doesn't tend to keep up with things. So Hank asked him if he had any oil on hand. Luckily Bob did have an old bottle in the back. Took the bottle, filled up the engine oil, and got them on the road. And, they're sitting in silence in the drive because they're both introverts and find that less is more, especially when it comes to speaking. They are men of few words. So they sit somewhat uncomfortably for a little bit, and Bob decides to ask Hank about the propane convention and, how he got started in that. And Hank, of course, is more than happy to tell him all about Lady Propane and how much he enjoys propane and propane accessories. And Bob is happy to just listen and just to see Hank's eyes light up, at this passion of his. They make it to the tow yard and they get the truck back and they're driving back. And Hank is just sitting thinking to himself, I might have judged this man a little too early on. His kids are bad. That's a fact. They may be unruly and wild and a little bit disrespectful, but it seems like this is a house filled with love. And meanwhile, while all of this is happening, of course, the kids, Linda and Peggy, are still at the restaurant, and Linda and Peggy are talking, and Linda is telling Peggy about how the kids have some performances coming up and how proud she is of her children and that they are the best babies in the entire world. No one could top them.
Oh, my teeny Tina, the star of the Thunder Girls holiday play at City Hall Plaza.
To which, of course, Peggy has to one-up her, and I don't blame her. I would do the same for my children. But just telling her, well, actually, my Bobby is the best. They would go back and forth for a bit, just talking about how great their kid is compared to the other kid and all of that, but ultimately still enjoying each other's company. And by the end of things, Bob and Hank come back and they have to get going to the propane convention. The Hills get in their truck and drive away. Meanwhile, Hank is thinking that he appreciates this new meeting with a family that is clearly full of love, a man who is simple and hardworking and has a mission to just put out a good product that has heart behind it. That's exactly what Hank is all about. They made some new friends that day in Seymour's Bay. I think that's kind of how the episode would end. Maybe there would be another conflict here and there. I couldn't necessarily think of much of a conflict that would come with Linda and Peggy, but it would probably be something surrounding some kind of competition because they're both very competitive. So probably something else would happen with that. But I hope that you guys liked this. If you guys have any other maybe like ideas that you could see happening, you know, conflicts that could happen or plot lines that you could see happening between the Belchers and the Hills, put that down below. Maybe we could make an episode and pitch it to Hulu or Fox or whatever, and maybe it would get picked up. I don't know. It would be the coolest thing though. I'm gonna put it out there. We're gonna manifest this dream, you guys, because life is far too short to just sit and hope that something will happen, you know? So anyways, I hope that this video was enjoyable. Hit that like button if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button so that you can see the alerts for my videos and so that you can see this face a whole lot more. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye!